So we're starting chapter 7, Siman Zion, in Tzidkat Hatzadik. And to do this, just to give you a general sense here, Hatzadik's is using the Gemara in Brachos about Kriya Shema to explain how each of us at every single level can connect to this concept of accepting the yoke of heaven according to where we each are on a personal level. Meaning that there's an opportunity for connection to each of us, and he's using a remez or a symbol as a symbolism that's mentioned in the Gemara in Brachos. So the Gemara in Brachos, it starts on Beis Amun Aleph. When do you Shema ba'arvis? When do you start reading Shema at night? From the time that the Kohanim enter to eat their truma until the first watch. But the bottom line, we're starting with the time. What's the time tied to? So the Gemara in Beis brings a number of other references that when do you read? When's the Siman Kriya Shema? When does it start? So here, for example, from the time that the Kohanim enter to eat the truma, and we have a contradiction. It says, when do you read Shema at night? From the time that the ani nechnas lecho pita b'melach, from the time that the poor person comes to eat his bread. He doesn't have a candle. He's poor. He's at home, so he eats his bread early. So it starts, I think, around Shkia time, around sunset, and not around Tzeis, which is when the three stars are out. So we have this reference to a poor person eating his bread with salt, that he doesn't have a candle, and he just does it. The next one is that the next opinion is when you start reading Kriya Shema at night. From the time that people enter to eat their bread on Friday nights when the table is all set, so they have a little bit more time. They obviously have a candle, you're set. And the main opinion in the Mishnah is the opinion that from the time that the Kohanim purify themselves, they go to the mikvah, and then they come back and they're able to eat, which is Tzeis HaKochavim, which is the actual time that it does start. So let's go back to Reb Tzadok. All right, so Zman Kriya Shema Tali B'Zman Achila. Siman Kriya Shema, Tzadok makes an interesting point that each of these times are times that are related to eating. It's either the poor person eating their bread, it's people on Friday nights eating their Shabbos meal, their Friday night dinner, or it's the time that the Kohanim come in and eat truma. So what's the connection? Tzadok wants to know. Because the odd timings, especially because I could have just said Tzeis HaKochavim. So he says Kechilu Kiyam Achayim. Really, eating is what keeps life alive. V'kach Kabbalas al Malchus Shemaim. Kabbalas al Malchus Shemaim, accepting the yoke of Hashem, being able to say Shavisi Hashem Nagdi Samid, that I can comprehend that I'm currently standing in front of the creator of the world, that's really Einod Mavado, there's nothing else that exists beyond him. That really itself, every single way that we can connect to that concept is clinging to life. K'im Chayenu, that godliness is life. And so every single strand that we can connect to is really the continuation of life itself. And that's the connection to food. Just like a person has to eat in the morning and at night, similarly, you have to accept the yoke of heaven and connect to Hashem in the morning and at night. So we're going to go through three different opinions. Manza Amar Me'ani B'da Me'ani. The one that says, he's going to read the one that says a poor person eats his food. It's Me'ani B'das. It's a poor person that is struggling to comprehend. So the ani is the poor person. B'das means that when we talk in Shas, often about a poor person spiritually, we talk about somebody who doesn't have comprehension, can't comprehend. She'eno ner lahar eino sechlo. He's not smart. He doesn't have the light in his eyes to spark the intellect to connect to Hashem. So he just runs through the food. He doesn't have an appreciation for the life. He doesn't have a sense of it. Kach Kabbalas al Malchus Shemaim v'pshitus. So therefore, there's a role for Kabbalas al Malchus Shemaim of just simply going through it. When you're in that space, when you're not fully able to connect, is you just connect to Hashem in any way, shape, or form. You do what you got to do. Like this poor person, all he has is bread with salt. The next opinion is the Basar Ibnei Adam. We go after most people. The Gamkim in Tzrichen Tara. They don't need purification. They don't need to wait till nightfall for them to be tahar to eat truma. Rak metinas ktas. They just need a little bit of space. Create some space. Till they have it, just give them a little bit of space. Give us a little bit of space to prepare. Get the light, the comprehension of Hashem in our eyes, and then we can get started. One opinion is that it's like Friday nights. That everything's already prepared. You don't have to do any preparations for it. It just comes in. And it was enough to do the Kriya Shema of at night from the preparation you did during the day, through the act of the day. No other preparations required. And the halacha is kekohanim. It's like Kohanim. Shem habatlanim call inyane elam hazeh. They're batlanim. They don't do any. They're not working at all. She'inam ele esek Torah. They only have working in the Torah. K'may she'amar Rambam Seif Hilchos Shemitah v'Yovel. The Rambam in Seif Hilchos Shemitah v'Yovel says that anybody can be a Kohen or a Levi. All they have to do is take on the role and responsibility of being an Eved Hashem, a servant to Hashem, whatever that piece of the Rambam. But the point is that there's no area of holiness that's cut off from any one of us. And the halacha is that we paskin, we go after the eating of the Kohanim, that they eat in purity. Likewise, I heard from the Ishbitzer. That's how the Ishbitzer explains Kohanim. Va'achilasam kodesh l'Hashem. Their eating is kodesh for Hashem. Utzrichim tahara, and they need some preparation. It needs tahara. So you come into Kriya Shema. Each of us, the Chazal paskind, that each of us has this opportunity to connect to Hashem at the highest level, and therefore there's tefillah v'kach l'Kriya Shema nifneh. Likewise, like you said before, in the earlier Siman, that you go to the bathroom and you get rid of all your most sorrows, all your extra desires of notel yadav. You wash your hands, either because either the Netilas Yadayim symbolizes a removal of bias, or it symbolizes a washing away of the averos, the bad choices that we've made previously. So that's why you get rid of it. It's a hachana, it's a preparation to eat the food, to be mekabel kabbalas al malchus shemayim in Tara. That's the point here is that we each have this opportunity to connect at the highest level. But Kabbalas al Malchus Shemayim, this acceptance of God is tied to eating. It's the same thing as eating and breathing. It's absolutely core to us, and it's also accessible at many levels. Though Chazal demanded of us that highest level, that drive to really truly connect to Hashem.